What's up, gamers? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live stream. Today, we're celebrating, right? Second shot of the Moderna vaccine is down in 30 days time, right? And I thought I would just kind of share like my experiences and have, open discussion about it. Everything I talk about will be my experience and just factual stuff. All right. So no, I did not turn into a crocodile. Nothing crazy happened. Nobody died. We were fine. So yeah, much like the first shot, they say go for the dominant arm. So I went with the right arm, right? And so there's like some initial soreness there. Today is day 2, because technically I got the shot yesterday, early in the morning. And I just had like a little bit of soreness right here around the injection site. But after that, just kind of tired and got some rest. And then today is when like the fatigue, the joint pain, the loss of appetite, headache, and just being like really tired. And then of course like the soreness here going like throughout the arm and making me practically useless for today. But took 2 Tylenol, had a good breakfast, healthy breakfast, despite not being hungry. And then just a lot of napping, right? Watched a lot of TV, got a lot of naps in, had some coffee. And I think most of the, other than like a little bit of arm soreness here, I think a lot of the symptoms have subsided. And like none of this is a big deal. I'm just stating this just to kind of like let you know what's going on. Like none of these symptoms are like too much for you to bear or any reason to not get the shot. Like I'm probably making it sound more dramatic than it is. It's literally just like normal stuff that we run into: fatigue, headaches. Sometimes we're really tired, right? Like it just felt like a rough day, and I just took all the precautions I needed, and luckily work let me take the day off and get plenty of rest. Kong of Beasts coming in with the AAY. 38 more shots. So yeah, this is the second shot and we're done. Lady GAA. And I took a shower and I feel great. I feel so much better now. And like several naps and definitely those Tylenols. 2 Tylenols. Man, once those kicked in, I was like, okay, we can do this. Yeah, so it's like, it's not nearly all that bad. I'm talking about the symptoms and such, but it just paid to be prepared, right? Like I was prepared to have a healthy breakfast, like I was prepared to have a headache or be fatigued, and so I kind of had my space ready, whether it's like the day to rest or it's like a good spot on the couch, like some hot drinks ready to go. So yeah, the question about you can't get COVID anymore, it doesn't necessarily make you just like permanently immune. From what the experts have talked about is that this will last for a while, but there's also different mutations, right? And we're hearing a lot about some different mutations that have gotten into the United States. Those, depending on like which vaccine you got and which mutation it is, sometimes, yeah, you do have a chance of potentially catching those. So much like the flu, how they gradually update the virus, right? They come out with new vaccines on a yearly basis with whatever the latest strain is out there. So I don't want to give any misinformation here, but you just want to be cautious, and there probably will be future shots over the next couple of years as we potentially try to just eliminate COVID. That would be really nice. But the less people that are immunized, or the less people that get the shot, then we have trouble. Then it becomes harder, right? Like polio makes a comeback if we if we don't vaccinate, right? So very much like that. You have new Crocs? Dude, if I had Crocs, I'd be wearing them right now. This would be the right time. So, I mean, the odds are low that I would get COVID. I would say that. But it could certainly happen. I think a lot of things, a lot of different circumstances would have to line up in order for that to happen. But yeah, second Moderna shot was really good. Everything went smooth. They just kept asking, like, if you had an appointment. And I was like, dude, I wish I had an appointment. Everybody in line was like, yeah, we've been trying to get freaking appointments. But yeah, we're all just pretty much walk-ins. But for the second shot, it technically is an appointment. Like, they literally scheduled that we would come back in 30 days and that they would allocate doses, which some states have not been, in some cities, have not been very, what's the word, fastidious about that? And I'm not saying my city did good at all. Because we got people down at the country club not wearing masks because, you know, in their mind, rich people don't get COVID. Okay. Try it. Many more virus mutations. Yeah, and I mean, we're hearing about different stuff from different countries and stuff like that. So, there's a lot going on. So, you know, you'll have to stay in tune, stay healthy, and, you know, just receive any updates as we go along. You know, health professionals will let you know. So that's why they kind of advise that you continue to wear the mask. Is like yeah, you may have gotten both your shots, but it causes two things, right? If you quit wearing your mask, number one is like, yeah, you probably could pick up another strain or end up getting it. And then number two, which is like the big thing, you have to set an example for others. You have to be patriotic, right? And continue to wear your mask even though you're immune. Because if I go somewhere without my mask, people don't know that I've gotten double vaccines, all right? So they're not gonna, they're gonna be like, oh wow, look at this asshole. So entitled, he doesn't even have to wear his mask. When that's not the truth, right? And then I might potentially impact other people to not wear masks. They're like, oh, well, he's not wearing a mask, so why should I? Chain reaction. You have to set a good example for other people to remain safe and healthy until it's time to take the masks off, and we're not quite there yet. I think we're reasonably close, as the experts have said. You know, it might be months, it might be a year or more, but like the more people just say screw the rules, like the longer things are gonna suck. Sorry, it's kind of like, you know, when you get in trouble at school and the teacher like punishes the entire class for like one person's mistake. They'll be like, oh, Jimmy didn't do his homework, so now I'm giving you like the entire class double the homework, no free time, no this, no that, and then everybody gets punished. This is kind of that same thing. And it sucks. Because yeah, we do have class clowns, and we have dumbasses and all that type of stuff. There you go. I would say that Fauci is potentially the top expert in his field. I don't see that there's any room for doubt, because there's credibility there. Credibility, education, right? He's like the top doctor in immunology, right? So if anybody knows anything about disease, it's this guy. So it's kind of hard to be like, well, Trump says he's no good. He said originally we don't need masks. Yeah, this is an old talking point here. So they kind of try to paint him as like a flip-flopper. He was trying not to get people to panic buy masks at the beginning. Okay? And studies change over time, right? That's science. Things are updated in science. We do continuous experiments and disprove old theories, right? And this has definitely been a learning experience. There's not been a virus quite like this one, right? So when he says originally he's trying not to get people to just go out and do what they did with toilet paper, and then all of a sudden doctors and nurses and the people who really need masks disproved himself. I doubt that's the way that should be categorized. But I think he said what needed to be said in the time frame with the information he had. And I don't see him taking back any of those statements. We haven't seen him say, "Oh yeah, I was wrong," or like he goes in and he explains, "Hey, at the time, this is the information we had, but also we didn't need people to panic buy." Because then, if someone's got like a massive stockpile of masks at home, then nobody else gets them. So somebody hoards them all and then throws them on Amazon, just like with the Purell. There was a Purell scam that happened too, where this guy was selling them for like $12 a bottle or something ridiculous. And like the government actually stepped in and shut his operation down because he was literally scalping hand sanitizer. And it was not just like horribly unethical. So the thing with the masks, yeah, I mean, it's just, you need to control the supply and demand. This is a jam. This very quiet little song here. And I think it speaks volumes that we're actually able to talk to him more with this presidency that's in office right now. We're able to talk to him and get more upfront and he's not holding back anymore, right? Like nobody's, even the director of the CDC, she's not holding back anymore either, as far as like telling the truth. Nobody's like sugarcoating stuff. Nobody's saying like, "It's gonna be gone by Easter," you know, like nobody's putting out BS lies like that. And we now have, you know, actual knowledge that Trump has actually said that he did not listen to the experts, didn't listen to Dr. Birx, didn't listen to Fauci, purposefully went against what they said. I mean, that's like catching someone red-handed, like murdering 500,000 people. That's the smoking gun and the bullet, all in one. But we live in a world where apparently there's probably not consequences for those type of lies and actions. Yeah. But I think we just gotta see how this administration handles it. I think it's been going really well so far. We're seeing people get better access to vaccines, more people getting vaccinated. You see someone that actually cares about the people who have died and actually chooses to memorialize them, remember them, hold solemn occasions for the many people that we've lost. I mean, you can equivalate it to a 9/11 every day, or what was it? It was like 4 Titanics a week or something like that. Yeah. I think Trump is responsible for a large portion of those deaths. Now, Biden steps in, and yes, it does become his responsibility to try to limit more deaths, which he's done well, but he's also got state representatives and governors and senators against him. You know, you have Texas choosing to rescind the mask mandate. You have all these other states doing that too. You have Florida declaring like a state of emergency because they just like chose to just fuck it and just have like party week on spring break. So it's interesting. Shelly, what is up? How are you? I'm doing well. Got that second shot of Moderna, so it's doing really well. Doing really well. Got some rest and some relaxation, and took all the proper precautions. So yeah, I think at a certain point, yeah, he's responsible. But Trump is responsible for willful neglect. Willful neglect. So, much like in a tragedy, a bunch of people are killed. If you are a bystander and you do nothing and you let all those people die, you don't call the police, you don't try to render some basic medical aid that most everybody knows, or if you just choose to like whistle and walk away, you're almost an accomplice there, if not officially. So it's scary territory. So we actually see a president that's willing to do things, willing to listen to experts, and willing to get things done. I think that's a good sign. I think we're seeing two drastically different approaches. One, his opinion was this was a fake virus, Trump. He says, oh, it's fake. It'll be gone by Easter. What happens? It's literally next Easter, and we've lost over 500,000 people. And like, what was it, by Christmas that we had already lost 200K? Like, and to him, that's just a number. It's a statistic. It's hard to even understand what that means. I mean, that's a country worth of people dead. And it's really hard for people to empathize with that if they don't know somebody that's gotten COVID or someone that's died from COVID. A lot of people don't have empathy until it happens to them, until they get sick. How does that make Fauci responsible for all the early deaths? I mean, as far as we can tell with the information we have, he was doing his job, but he was being blocked by an administration from being able to speak out. And same with Birx. And I actually really dislike her approach because a lot of times you could tell she was very uncomfortable when Trump was telling people to inject bleach into their arms. You could tell she wanted to get up and say something. And in post-interviews, she said, I should have said something, blah, 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 but I didn't want to lose my job, and I didn't want him to hire someone less competent than me, and I get that, but like, we needed some heroes. We needed some people to stand up and say, no, this is wrong, you're a monster. You know, like, we needed real heroes in this time. And it felt like we had people that were limited and pushed back and might have felt like they were doing the right thing at the time. And maybe they were. Maybe I'm out of line in assuming that she should have stood up and gotten fired and you know, just like risked it all to try to mitigate deaths. It's crazy. My feet are almost completely healed. Have one more appointment tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully home nurse will discharge me. Oh, that's great news. That's great news. It's good to hear. So yeah, it's not necessarily that any one president has directly killed people, but Trump has done things that have allowed more people to die. And his misinformation about the virus, his misinformation about the vaccine, his misinformation saying that, oh, it's just the flu, or, oh, it's just, you know, can we inject bleach and see if that works? And he was also pushing, what was that fake medicine? Hydroxychloroquine, which was really... you could tell he was pushing that for some sort of revenue. I don't know if he owned stock in it or like maybe some of his buddies did. There was some crazy stuff going on with that. Because that proved to not be adequate. Otherwise, we'd all be getting it. And like, cheers to all the vaccines that are out there right now. All these different companies that have worked really hard to come up with these vaccines. And now the hurdle is just getting them out to people, finding the people that are willing to take the vaccine, and making sure to get those out timely. Because, right, some of the vaccines have expiration dates, right? We don't want them to go bad. And for the ones that need to be refrigerated, that's like a whole new complication on top of that. And in a lot of areas, they might be getting you enough vaccines to have your first shot, but then they're not allocating 30 days from now to get your second shot. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh my god, there's some audio there. The thing about the hydroxychloroquine, that created a lot of misinformation, and that was, hang on. I hate that. I don't know why that's being weird. How's Presley? Feels like I haven't seen him in forever. Yeah, he's doing really well. I have been taking him out for walks and stuff like that. Well, I've been taking him out for walks. You know, he's been eating like less treats. Can't say that word too loud. So I'm kind of trying to get him to like work off some of that weight. We're taking him on walks and stuff like that. So the thing about that hydroxychloroquine was that it was malaria drug. Wasn't made at all for COVID. And it turns out that the people that did take it in that rush that Trump created actually suffered side effects that killed them. Because it's like, yeah, if you don't have malaria, it turns out you take medication like that, then it could end up giving you a problem, like say a heart condition or whatever. Then you're in real trouble. Does it work though? No. We don't have any proof, and it's not FDA approved. And that's the other scary thing, is you probably really shouldn't take things that are not approved by the Federal Drug Administration. I think I got that acronym right. Or it might be Food and Drug Administration. But it's a federal thing. So that means, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for trusting experts, but there you go. It's interesting. So we should always trust the feds? I think you should trust experts to some degree. Yeah. I don't think you should, our generation, or maybe not even our generation, maybe it's more my parents or the boomers, maybe it's the older generation that we need to worry about. Because they are the ones that are going to like these rogue news sites and like just trusting what they read on Facebook, or like Mama's Home Remedies, like not taking what they learned in science class, or maybe not even learning science like properly, and learning to just like basic stuff. Like a lot of this stuff is like basic things that I learned in high school. I didn't take a lot of chemistry and physics classes, but I did take some, and like I have like the bare minimum like basic knowledge of like, okay, there's a way things work in the universe. I understand the scientific method. I understand that there's also like this God element too, right? Because I'm religious, so there's that on top of it. So there's always this unknown. There's always the constant proving and testing of theories and such. But if you come to a point where you're just like, that's fake, or what they said's fake, it's like, well, how do we know what's really true if everything is the only stuff that's true is what's convenient for you and your bias? That's what's crazy. And so it's not necessarily that you should be just overly trusting of everyone, but when someone literally goes to school 4 to 8 years to learn about immunology, like maybe they know more than your dad. Like, you know what I mean? Your dad who just has, a high school diploma or something. Or your dad, the trumpet player. Or your mom, the kindergarten school teacher. Like, like maybe the guy that studied that knows more than the failed businessman with bronze orange skin. With the Cheeto skin. Like, maybe he doesn't know as much about governing. Which that really showed. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Sister's visiting next Tuesday and bringing her cat. So excited. Haven't seen Chica since the lockdown. Kinda glad my sister has... Wait, bed bugs? Oh no! Those are the worst. We had a breakout, 5 years ago in this old apartment complex I used to live in. And my neighbors downstairs had like pet ferrets and all sorts of other stuff. They were running a zoo, practically. Like, I mean, there was like ferrets, there were cats, there were dogs. I don't know what else was there. And like, apparently they can like climb, the bed bugs can like climb up through the inside of your walls and just like navigate. It doesn't take much for them to like enter another room or another part of the structure. Much like termites, I guess. I mean, they have a way of working around. Maybe they just did what they were told to do. I don't trust everyone around me, but I do trust the experts that are around me. So if I go to the doctor and he gives me a diagnosis, I have the freedom to seek a second opinion from another doctor, or to look at those tests and consult various experts, right? But if I just say like, oh, hey, I have a headache, and then like Google search it, it's going to be like, you have brain cancer. Or if I just ask some random person on the street, hey, my head hurts, what do you think it could be? And they'll be like, oh, just, do this or that. I should really be listening to the people that know the most, right? That's why experts are experts. So if someone asks me about something relating to music, jazz, blues, chord progressions, professionalism in the industry, whatever it may be, entertainment, business type stuff, if someone asks me something like that, then they're looking at my credibility, my degrees that I have, my experience as well, which Fauci's like 80. So he's like probably pretty experienced when it comes to immunology. And to be the #1 in the United States, I don't think they just throw around that title. I don't think #1 is just something super easy. I think the field of medicine is hyper competitive, and there's a lot of people doing it, and very much in the music realm as well. A lot of people doing it. Aren't ferrets illegal to have as pets in certain states? I never really looked into it, but I know people have a lot of pet ferrets. So I have no idea. I have no idea. But it's interesting, all of this, really. An interesting discussion. But I think we are on a much better path, regardless of political stances and such. You can just tell that when we look at the statistics, we look at the numbers, we see vaccinations going up, deaths going down, and we're gonna have outbreaks here and there, like spring break. We're gonna have Christmas, we're gonna have Easter, right, where people are gonna get together regardless of the rules. Then you have places that are flaunting the rules. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna get all sorts of stuff like that. But in general, I think a lot of people will probably get vaccinated. And I would hope for more so that you would just never have to worry about this particular thing again. And God forbid when the next outbreak happens of whatever it's going to be, because like the experts say, something will come along. Hopefully we have a president that is capable and doesn't shut down. He literally came into office and shut down the task force. He literally was like, that's a waste of money. And shut it down. And that's why we were super unprepared with our pants down when COVID hit. And then of course we had those two Republican senators that were in the briefing room and heard about COVID ahead of time, back in January or earlier. And then they went and wagered in the stock market, and they've gotten away scot-free as far as we know. I think there's a special place in hell for that. Call me religious. I want to do a giveaway over the weekend. Got the Steam version of Iris and the Giant. Interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. I've not heard of that game. Not heard of that. But I do need to wrap up here in a bit. I just wanted to say that things are going well, and I'm thankful that myself and my family were able to get the vaccines, and everybody's in various states of fatigue and such now that it's day 2. But everybody took some medicine, took it easy, and hopefully we'll be back at it tomorrow. Gonna have some Avengers content dropping tomorrow. That should be exciting. That's the marketplace update, by the way. And then following that, I think I'm gonna clean up the office, mess around with some of the cameras in here. I'm gonna try some different angles and such with that. I'll try to get the music thing up and running. I have stuff with my pedal board that I need to work out. I need to spend money on a power supply, and that's gonna really suck. But that will get me closer to being able to do music streams, and really just getting some debt out of the way will be spectacular towards achieving that goal. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to come in, do an update, and just sort of let people know what my experience was. And I would say it's generally good, and I say, hey, go for it, get the vaccine. Don't fret about it, but just know what you're getting into. Know that you will probably experience some fatigue or a headache or something like that. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time. Take care.